Welcome to Bear News. I'm Joe Scott.
And I'm Sayla Brewer. Today, we dive into stories from this past week, here and around the world.
Oklahoma Dusty Deavers imposed a new law where Bill 1017 would strip Medicaid coverage for essential students-based educational services. Educational programs for IEPs would no longer include physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech-language therapy, behavioral therapy, and psychological therapy. The bill states these services are not the responsibility of Oklahoma K-12 public schools and shall be the responsibility of the parents or guardians to provide the children of off-campus and after-school hours. In response to the parents' outrage, Senator Deavers took to social media saying no students educationally necessarily IEP services would be cut. He continued by saying all educationally necessary services should still be covered as required by Federal Individuals with Disabilities Education Act.
Monday afternoon, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt held his 7th annual State of the State address, proposing some big changes. Governor Stitt highlighted his decision to deploy the Oklahoma National Guard to Texas to assist with border control. One proposition called Operation Guardian is a state initiative to deport people who committed crimes while in the country illegally. Stitt went on to mention he believes strong families were the foundation of societal success, highlighting the importance of Family Month and the need to address national crisis of fatherlessness. The governor stated 71% of high school dropouts grew up without a present father, and 66% of juveniles in state custody experienced fatherlessness as well. Stitt left his address with a message about keeping the American dream alive and offering hope to residents.
President Donald Trump is increasing tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. A 25% tariff will be implemented on all Mexican and Canadian exports to the U.S. However, Chinese exports and Canadian energy products will only be tariffed at 10%.
The tariffs target these three countries in an effort to prohibit the production and transportation of illegal drugs into the U.S.
I think it's a lose-lose. It's just a question of how big the loss. It raises prices, it raises inflation, and of course we've been through a very wrenching period globally with high inflation. It's been a real problem.
Sparking controversy is Oklahoma Senate Bill 484, which would prohibit cities with a population less than 300,000 to provide or operate homeless shelters. In state Oklahoma, these only cities with the population criteria are OKC and Tulsa, meaning this could affect every other city in state.
The bill also introduces the first legal definition of a homeless person in Oklahoma law. While supporters argue that the bill creates clarity, critics say it removes shelter options for many vulnerable individuals. If passed, State Bill 484 could force homeless individuals in smaller communities to relocate to Oklahoma City or Tulsa, further straining the already limited resources.
With shelter services stretched thin, concerns are rising over how these cities will handle a potential increase in their homeless populations. According to a Norman Transcript report, Senator Lisa Standridge, the writer of the bill, said the first draft would have unintended consequences, since the current reading would possibly ban shelters for victims of domestic violence.
Standridge said she plans to rewrite the bill in committee. If passed, the bill will go into effect November 1st, 2025.
Many are speaking out about President Donald Trump's deportation order in Los Angeles. Thousands were gathered in Olivera Street on Sunday to protest their order. Carrying multiple country flags, including Mexico, protesters marched to the City Hall and to Freeway 101, causing the road to be blocked around 6 p.m. A dispersal order was issued as law enforcement began to close on the protesters.
Our parents and our grandparents fought for us to be here, and I feel like the way that they're doing it now, of getting people on the streets and at work, is just horrible.
On Monday, protesting continued, blocking Cesar Chavez Avenue, police say that nearly 200 people were detained, many of which expected to be citied and released. These protests began to spread across the United States, including Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, and Georgia.
On February 3rd, President Donald Trump announced the opening of the California dams, causing severe flooding in the southern part of the state. Experts on the water supply said the water release won't help Southern California with the fires. The flooding has prevented farmers from harvesting crops due to plants dying from excessive water.
Texas parents in Pasadena Memorial High School took down a man who opened fire at a band competition last Saturday. The man in his 80s entered the campus and hid behind a pillar inside the school for about 2 minutes before he shot off a small caliber firearm. Parents quickly jumped into action and tackled the man to the ground within 60 seconds. The suspect was disarmed by the Good Samaritans, preventing further injuries. The school district says one person was injured but in stable condition. The parents involved are getting praise for the Brave Selfless Act.
And bringing us the weather rundown for this upcoming week is Bear News' very own Jason Marshall.
Monday, we are expecting partly cloudy weather with showers in the afternoon and a high of 49. Tuesday has chances of rain and light snows throughout the day. Temperatures will get up to 41. Wednesday, it will be partly cloudy with a high of 43. Thursday will continue to be partly cloudy with a high of 50. This has been your Noble Weather Report.
Thanks, Jason. New Orleans is preparing for potential attacks surrounding the upcoming Super Bowl. After the tragic New Year's Day event in New Orleans, police are equipping for another possible incident. New barriers have been put in place surrounding the Superdome, and in addition to the clear bag policy, police will be checking bags at entrances. Concealed weapons will be allowed in the area, minus inside bars, casinos, government buildings, and venues. Since the attack, Super Bowl tickets prices dropped tremendously. For a fear of a copycat situation, let's kick it over to Adeline Burnett for sports.
The Hardwoods are causing quite the commotion this week. Late Saturday night, the Mavericks announced their trade of 25-year-old Luka Doncic for 31-year-old Anthony Davis. This trade is very controversial for the Mavericks, as Luka is a 5-time All-Star and last year's Western Conference MVP. Doncic played a huge part in the Mavs playoff run last year, getting the Mavs to the championship game. A group of Mavericks fans hosted a fake funeral in front of the American Airlines Center to mourn the trade of the face of the franchise. Fans carried in a blue casket while playing music, bringing flowers, and making signs. Moving local, the Noble Bears boys and girls basketball had a tough loss against the Carl Albert Titans on Tuesday. Both teams lost by over 30 points. This Friday, the Bears are back at home versus the El Reno Indians, hoping to bounce back from the big loss. The Lady Bears currently sit at 8-9 in the regular season, while the boys are 8-10. This is Adeline Burnett with sports. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Adeline. Last Sunday, celebrities took their condolences to the red carpet at the Grammys. Celebrities attending the event dressed in black to stand with Los Angeles and mourn the loss of lives, homes, and land to the wildfires. The host of the event, Trevor Noah, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, and Bruno Mars, all wore black to display their support. Beating out top artists like Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, and Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars won Best Pop Duo of the Year. The award for Best New Artist was presented to Chappell Roan, who chose to use her platform to call out record labels.
Labels, we got you, but do you got us?
Best Country Album went to Cowboy Carter by Beyoncé, making her the first black woman in almost 50 years to win this category. Despite this, many voters disagree with the results, saying that this ain't a country album. Beyoncé then closed the night winning Best Album of the Year and announced her tour starting in April 2025. This year's Grammys has been a whirlwind of talent, nominees, and controversies.
The Sooners kick off their softball season today as the ladies seek to defend their dynasty. The doubleheader begins at 5:30 and 8 p.m. Central.
Thank you for watching Bear News. I'm Joe Scott.
And I'm Sayla Brewer, signing off.